I often get asked by new traders when they're opening up a new brokerage account or just getting into trading, what's the best trading software out there? Or, where should I open up my trading account? Well, it's a difficult question to answer because to some degree, it does come down to personal preference. And honestly, you can probably open up any brokerage account you want and still make money if you know what you're doing. But why not give yourself every possible advantage that you can? So in this video, I'm going to go over the 2 trading platforms I use and give you the pros and cons of each of those. So if that sounds good, stick around. We'll see you after the intro. All right, so for my trading, there's 2 platforms that I use. The first is ThinkOrSwim. I've been using ThinkOrSwim for many, many years, and I think it's an absolutely great way to trade. But more recently, I started using TastyTrade also, and I really enjoy it for certain things. So I'm going to go over what I use out of each platform and kind of what the pros and cons are of each, and hopefully that'll help you make a decision if you're looking at opening up a new account or if you're just looking for a platform to switch to. So let's start with ThinkOrSwim. So like I said, I've been using this forever, and I absolutely love this program. I think it's probably one of the best, if not the best, charting softwares out there that you can get, especially one that you can get for free just by opening up an account and not having to pay any kind of monthly subscription. The charting software that it comes with is incredibly easy to use, and it has pretty much every tool you could possibly need to make money in the market. So let's just go over a few of those. The first, obviously, is the indicators. I mean, it's really important. You want to have good, accurate information, good, accurate indicators. And with ThinkOrSwim, it's really easy to add whatever indicator you want to use. So I have a video, I can post the link to it here on how I set mine up and which indicators I have here on my chart. I'm not going to go into all that detail here, but basically if you want to add indicators, all you do is you click on this Edit Studies button, the window pops up, and I mean, there's literally hundreds, if not thousands, of studies you can choose from, both studies and strategies. Basically, you just search for whatever you want, click on the Add Selected button, it moves it over to the right side. Maybe there's a couple options you need to edit if you want to change colors or some parameters or something, and you hit apply, hit OK, and it puts it on your chart. It's really that simple. The one really nice thing about it also is you can actually create your own custom indicators. And I don't use that feature a lot, but for example, these the IV rank, all this information up here, that doesn't come with ThinkOrSwim. This is actually a script that I wrote myself. So it allows you to write your own scripts. Maybe there's a certain indicator that you came up with yourself and you want to add to your chart. ThinkOrSwim allows you to do that, which I think is a really nice feature. And the same thing, when you're setting up your indicators, it asks you, do you want to set it up on your main chart? Do you want to set it up down below? You can put your volume, for example, up on the main chart. You can put it down below. It really gives you a lot of options to customize however you want your chart to look. The other thing I like about ThinkOrSwim is once you have it set up the way you want it, what you can do is you can save your profile. So by clicking over here, you can save your style and name it whatever you want. And then if you log in on a different computer or even on your mobile device, say you want to look at your account or you want to look at the charts on your iPhone, you can load those styles from any device that you log into. So you only got to set it up once, and basically anywhere you log in from, you'll be able to look at the exact same charts the way you want them. Now, another nice feature of ThinkOrSwim is the ability to create watch lists. So you can create watch lists, custom watch lists for whatever you want. You can do it by sector, you can do it by certain stocks that you follow. And on top of that, it comes with a lot of its own watch lists that you can look at. So for example, when you click on any one of these, the ones under personal are the ones I created, but all these other ones, this is what comes with ThinkOrSwim. So, I mean, there's public, you can search alphabetically, lovers and losers, top 10 by industry, even active on social media. There's all kinds of watch lists that come with the program, or you can create your own. Most of these, I like to create my own, so I like to create them by sector, and that way I can just go through them real quick and kind of see what each sector is doing and kind of which are the good stocks within each sector. But you can set it up, however it works for you. And then finally, when you're ready to make a trade, it's really easy to do with ThinkOrSwim. You don't have to go to the trade tab. I mean, you can, but you don't need to go to the trade tab. You can do it right off the chart. So there's a few different ways you can do it. Basically, you can just right click on buy. And what it does is it automatically creates this buy order. Now it does it automatically for 100 shares. So if you want to adjust that, all you do is hit the edit button. Now you can see your order. You can adjust the number of shares you want to buy. You can adjust, do you want it as a limit order, a market order, a stop limit, and how long you want it to be in effect for. and then you just go ahead, hit confirm and send, and you place your order. So that's one way of doing it. Now, the other way of placing your order is if you open up the big button, what you can do is if you just click on buy market, it'll do the exact same thing, open up the same type of order, and you can adjust it however you want. Or let's say you want to buy it instantly. You're ready to buy. You want to buy 100 shares of APA. All you do is hold down the shift button on your keyboard, press the buy market, and it instantly buys. And you just bought 100 shares. Similarly, if you want to sell, all you do is you hold down the shift button, hit sell market, and the order goes through instantly. Now, the other really cool thing that I like about ThinkOrSwim, I'll just close these, is right now I'm in what they call the virtual account. So this isn't my actual account where I made this, where I just made this purchase and sale. So by clicking on this on demand button, it puts you in a virtual account mode. What's really nice about that is, let's say there's some new strategy you want to try out. Usually this applies to like options or something, but say even maybe you want to get into day trading. What this allows you to do is you go into virtual mode, you can actually select whatever date you want. So let's say maybe there was a trade that you made, last week or 2 weeks ago or something, and it didn't work out. You ended up losing money. Well, you can actually select that day. You can go back in time wherever you want, select the day and select the time. So right now we're on the 19th, and hit go. And then you hit play. And when you do that, it'll actually play, minute by minute, what happened in the market that day. And you can actually make trades and, trade along in, historically and see how you would do. It's a great tool for learning how to trade the market, or like I said, if there's some new strategy you want to try out, instead of trying a new strategy with real money, try it virtually first, see how it works, especially if it's an option trade. Maybe you never did credit spreads before, or maybe you've never done an iron condor before. Try it on paper first, see how it works, see how the prices react, then do it with real money. Really like that feature. I use it quite a bit. Obviously I use it a lot when I'm making videos, so I don't have to be in my own account. I can be in this virtual account and demonstrate that way. So really works great. And finally, probably the last thing I guess I would show on here is there's tons of drawing tools you can use to help supplement your chart analysis. So all you need to do is you click on this little button, this icon down here, and there's all kinds of tools you can use. Anything from just a pointer to drawing trend lines, drawing price levels. You can draw ovals, you can add text, and then it's got all of the different Fibonacci, Fibonacci retracement, Fibonacci extensions. So all kinds of cool tools you can use from there. If you want to draw trend lines, it's real easy. Just click on the trend line button, pick your starting point, pick your end point, and there's your trend line. You can change the color of it, by right clicking on it, edit properties. You can change the color, make it whatever color you want. You can change the style of the line, the width of the line, all that kind of stuff. If you want to remove it, again, you just right click, remove drawing, real simple. So a very easy to use, I think. When I first started using this, it didn't take me very long to learn it at all. I think it's, it's very intuitive, very easy to learn, but it's got so many features and really helps with chart analysis and really greatly improves your trading, in my opinion. Okay, now let's switch over, just as a comparison, to TastyTrade. So TastyTrade has a really good chart program also, but I'll be perfectly honest, and maybe it's just because I haven't used it as much, and so if you disagree, post it down in the comments. If you think there's something I'm missing, or if you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it down in the comment section. But as you can see, I haven't even put all of the indicators on here, like what I have in ThinkOrSwim. And it's mostly just because I don't really use this charting software. I might glance at it quickly if I'm doing something in TastyTrade and I just want to, see something real quick. But typically I have both softwares open, and for the charting portion of what I do, I'll use ThinkOrSwim. This does pretty much have all the same features. Like if you want to add more indicators, it's almost the same process. You click on indicators. You can search. It looks like they got pretty much just as many, pretty much all the same ones that ThinkOrSwim has. And looks like the same process. You just click on it, go add selected, it moves it over to the right side, adds it to your graph. So you can add whatever indicators you want. The one thing I guess that I don't like about this, I like to use hollow candles. I know it's a really minor thing. I could probably get used to this too, but it's just what I've used before. So this doesn't have the option of using hollow candles. It has all kinds of different things you can choose from, but hollow candles are not one of those choices. So again, really minor thing, but just a personal preference. Watch lists, again, you can create whatever watch list you want. It does come with a lot of them. So when you click on watch lists, it actually is pretty cool. I do like some of the pre-populated watch lists, maybe a little better than in ThinkOrSwim, but you can also create your own. It's a fairly simple process. So you click on watch lists, you go to the settings tab up here in the top right hand corner, you click on lists, and basically you can add a symbol. You can pick what list you want to add it to. Right now, actually, it's set up to add a new list. You can go cancel new list, and you can add it to an existing list. You just type in your symbol. So say you want to put in, I don't know, APA. So you want Apache, and you want to add it to one of your lists. Create a new, well, I guess because I haven't created one on here yet, you can't add it to the pre-populated one. So you'd have to go add new list. You create a name for it. Maybe you want to call it oil. Hit add, and it would create that list for you. So fairly similar to ThinkOrSwim. Even the tools are similar, like the drawing tools. So if you click on here, same kind of thing. You can draw price levels, time levels, trend lines. You can extend the line. You can draw an arrow. And I believe it does have, yeah, there we go. It has all the Fibonacci, just like the other, just like in ThinkOrSwim. So very similar. There'd probably be nothing wrong if you wanted to use this as your charting software. However, I want to go back to ThinkOrSwim, and I want to show you two things that are on ThinkOrSwim that are not available on TastyTrade. And those two things are probably the main reason, or I shouldn't even say probably, those two things are the main reason why I wouldn't switch over to TastyTrade as far as a charting software or a charting platform. So let's go back to here. One thing that I think is just a huge benefit to ThinkOrSwim is the ability to create your own scans. So in ThinkOrSwim, you can create a scan using hundreds or maybe even, like I said, thousands of different parameters that are pre-built into ThinkOrSwim. You select which ones you want, you enter whatever criteria you want, and it'll create a scan and show just those stocks that meet that scan. Now, if you're in your actual account, you'd be able to see how this works. Unfortunately, when I click the scan button here in the virtual account, it says that this feature isn't yet available in the virtual account or on the on-demand portion of the platform. So I created these in my actual account, and once you're in an account, you'd be able to see it. Basically, it just shows a list of criteria, and it's really user-friendly, really easy to identify. And you just pick whatever criteria you want. You go create scan. You would name your scan, and once you do that, your scan then shows up as an option here on this sidebar. So, for example, if we look at these, the ones under personal, these are all ones that I created. So the ones with the purple target, those are scans, and the rest are just watch lists. So you can create, again, like I said, whatever scan you want, and then when you select it on here, so I like using the 6-day TTM squeeze, it's one of my favorite ones, and you open up that watch list. So even though we're in virtual, it'll still bring up my watch list. My scan. It'll still bring up my scan. You just can't create the scan while you're in virtual. And what's really nice then about this is you can go through this real quick, and basically this is every single stock that meets the requirements of what my scan was, and you can just go through it real quick, just with the down arrow, and as you select each one of these, it shows the chart, and you can decide, is this something I want to look into? Is this something I want to buy? And it just makes it really easy, really efficient, I guess, to trade. So that feature is not available in TastyTrade. In TastyTrade, you're not able to create scans. You can create watch lists, but you can't create scans. The second thing that ThinkOrSwim has that TastyTrade doesn't, and actually that I don't think any other platform does, is this TTM squeeze indicator. So in this scan, it's a custom scan that I created, and there's a whole bunch of different criteria. And actually, I'll post a link. If you haven't watched that video yet, I'll post a link up here in the right-hand corner. You can check out that video on how I created the scan. Like I said, it's really simple, but I go kind of step by step on how to put the scan together. So it's a custom scan, but the main indicator in there that I used is one that's called TTM squeeze. And I could be wrong about this, but I don't think it's available in any other trading platform. I believe it's only on ThinkOrSwim. I believe it's their patented or their special indicator. What I really like about it is this TTM squeeze indicator is perfect for my style of trading. So my favorite trade is to trade a stock that's consolidating, a stock that's created a base and then breaks out to new highs. And that's exactly what this TTM squeeze indicator does. So again, TTM squeeze, it's not available in TastyTrade, and that is probably one of the main reasons why I wouldn't switch to the charting program on TastyTrade, why I would stick with ThinkOrSwim. And again, if you want to see how to create this indicator that I have, check out the video I did on the TTM squeeze. I'm sure it'll help your trading out a lot. So at this point, you're probably wondering, well, if I like the charting software so much on ThinkOrSwim, and it's really easy to place orders, really easy to place a trade right from the chart, why did I open up a TastyTrade account? Well, one word, options. So you can do options trading on ThinkOrSwim, and I have been trading options for, again, many, many years on ThinkOrSwim. But I wanted to see what TastyTrade is like, and so I opened up an account, and to be perfectly honest, I think trading options is way easier and cheaper on TastyTrade than it is on ThinkOrSwim. So let's start with the costs first. So ThinkOrSwim used to be TD Ameritrade, now it's part of Schwab. You can see the cost for making trades on ThinkOrSwim. Pretty much like any other brokerage platform now, you can trade stocks and ETFs for free. There's no commission on those. Options, however, when you trade options in ThinkOrSwim, there's a zero base commission, but you're paying 65 cents per contract, and that's both to open your position and to close your position. So it doesn't sound like a lot. I mean, 65 cents isn't a lot, but it does add up if you're doing a lot of options trading. Now, let's compare that to TastyTrade. So here you can see the commissions with TastyTrade. Again, stocks, ETFs, zero. I mean, that's pretty much standard everywhere. The difference on TastyTrade is they only charge you when you open your option trade. So they charge you $1 per contract, but only when you open it. It's $0 or zero, to close an option trade. So to compare that to ThinkOrSwim, if you're paying 65 cents to open and 65 to close, so you're paying basically $1.30 for every option trade that you're making, because it's very rare that you would leave an option trade to expiry. So most of the time you are closing them. I'd say probably 95% of the time, if not more, I am closing my option trades prior to expiry. So you're paying $1.30 versus $1. So again, that's not a huge difference unless if you're trading a lot of options. Then it really adds up. But here's the real important part. Although it's $1 per contract, they max it out at $10 per leg. So what that means is if you're buying less than 10 options at a time, this won't really affect you. But if you're trading a lot of options at a time, basically anything more than 10, you're going to save a lot of money using TastyTrade over ThinkOrSwim. Let's say, for example, you're buying 100 contracts of something. So 100 contracts, that's going to cost you $65 to open the trade on ThinkOrSwim, another $65 to close it. So you're going to pay $130 in fees just to make that trade of 100 contracts in some type of option. Well, on TastyTrade, it's going to cost you $1. So you'd say, okay, well, that's $100 to open, but it's maxed out at $10 per leg. So you're going to pay only $10 in commission for those 100 contracts, both to open and to close them. So now you're talking a difference of $130 in fees versus $10 in fees on TastyTrade. So if you're trading a lot of options or a frequent option trader, it's definitely a lot cheaper to be using TastyTrade over ThinkOrSwim. All right, so other than the pricing, let's go look at now, how do you actually put on an option trade on each of these platforms? So let's start off with ThinkOrSwim first. So let's say if you wanted to make an option trade in, what are we looking at? We're looking at Apache. So ticker APA. Let's say you wanted to put on an option trade. I don't know. Let's do a naked strangle, just for simplicity. So to make an option trade, you would click on this trade tab up in the top left-hand corner, and that shows you all the different expiration dates that particular ticker has. So again, we're looking at APA. So let's go to January 19th. And now that opens up all the different strike prices that you can choose from for this expiration. Now to put on a short strangle, let's say, so the stock price is currently at $36. So this is where, and it kind of shows you, you can tell by the color difference, so you can see where the at the money call and put are. So to put on this trade, we would look at our delta, and let's say we want to sell somewhere around the 19 delta call. So what you would do is you would hover over the bid, and you just click on it, and you can see that it comes up, that your initial order comes up of selling one call at $39.50 with an expiration of January 19th. So then to add the put to this trade, again, we would look at our deltas. Okay, so here we have about an 18 delta, so it matches pretty closely. And again, we'd hover over the bid. This time to add this trade, because if you just click on this, it's going to replace your previous trade that you put on. To add this to your ticket, what you want to do is you have to hold down the control button and then click on it, and it'll add the put. So now you have your short call, your short put. You can see you're getting a credit of 74 cents for this entire trade. Now, this isn't a really big deal, but let's say you want to adjust your strike prices. So when you put this on, you looked at it and you said, okay, well, it's not 74 cents. That's not really enough. I'd like to get a little more. So maybe your $33 put, maybe you're a little bullish on this. So instead of 33, maybe you want to go to 33.50. Well, there's not a really easy way to do this on the chart portion of it. If you want to change your 33 to 33.50, the only way really to do it is either to start over, so say then you would click on your 33.50, hold the control button, click on the 39.50, and it would open them up again. Or you could update it down here. So let's say, you want to change the 33 to 33.50, you can manually do it that way. It'll update your credit, but you can't really change it on this chart. You can't like drag prices around or, play around with different things. So you gotta, once you have your ticket down here, you gotta keep playing with it down here. Otherwise, if you click on anything in this area, it's gonna erase what you have down at the bottom and start a new order. So again, like I said, not a big deal, but just maybe not the most user friendly. And then it gives you a decent amount of information, so it tells you your amount of credit. You can, if you right click over here and go on Analyze Trade, so it'll open up this graph, gives you a pretty good interpretation, I guess, of where your break-even points are, where you make money. You can see your zero line, so that's obviously your break-even. Anything above that is profit, anything below that is a loss. And it gives it to you both for today and for the expiration date. So it's not bad. Then we can go from here, we can go back to the trade. Again, it's still there. So then if you decide you want to execute it, you would just hit confirm and send. You'd have to hit send one more time and your trade would execute. So, not bad. Like I said, I've used this for a long time making trades this way and really no issue, but you'll see in a second, I think TastyTrade takes this process and makes it even easier and even better with the information that it gives you. So with that being said, let's go over to TastyTrade. All right, so to make this exact same trade here in TastyTrade, again, you'd have to go to the trade tab. So it's right here on the left-hand side. You click on that. Now keep in mind, these numbers are gonna be just slightly different because again, remember over there, we were in our virtual account. Here, there is no virtual account. So this is live, live data, live numbers. And the other one, it's a couple days old. It was from, December 19th. Today's December 21st. So the numbers are going to be just slightly different as far as the credit that we receive. And the deltas, I think, are just a little different also. But as far as the process, so what we would look at, along the top, you can adjust these to whatever you want. But, they're pretty similar to what's in ThinkOrSwim. We would look at our delta. And, so let's say we want to sell the 17 delta call. Again, here, it's really easy. Just click on the bid. And it shows it as, you're selling one contract at the 39.50 call. What I really like is how it highlights this. Okay, so it just visually makes it easy to see, which call you're selling. To do the same thing with the put, again, we would look at our deltas and, let's say we want to sell the 18 delta put. So here what's really nice, and I know it's really minor, you don't have to press the control button. All you do is click on the bid and it adds that to your trade. So now you can see, you can see both of your trades down here, both the call and the put, and it tells you right away, okay, so 67 cents is the premium you would collect. But what's really nice also is this gives you some more information that's not in the ThinkOrSwim platform. So for example, it'll tell you your probability of profit is 73%. So that's a nice thing to know when you're putting on a trade. It also tells you what your overall delta is on this trade. Now you can figure it out really easy. I mean, in ThinkOrSwim, all you do is take the two deltas and subtract them. And it's really easy to figure out what your overall delta is for the position. But what if you're doing an iron condor? Now you got 4 different legs. You really want to be, adding that up. Here it does it for you and it gives you the number. So, I mean, it's pretty much delta neutral. We're at a 1.4, which, pretty close to a delta zero or delta neutral trade. Tells you what your theta decay is per day. Tells you what your max profit is. So obviously if you're collecting 67 cents, and you're only doing one contract, your max profit is $67. And it tells you your max loss. In this case, because it's an undefined risk strategy with the short strangle, the max loss is infinite. And it tells you what your buying power effect is. So all really nice things to know, and it puts it right there, right in front of you, so it's easy to see. Now, the one thing I really like, and again, I know it's minor, whereas in ThinkOrSwim, you had to adjust the numbers down here. Let's say you just want to play around with a few different strikes and see how it affects, some of these numbers we just looked at. All you do is you click on it and drag it down to whatever strike you want. So let's say, we were at the 32.50. What if you want to go to the 33 instead? All you do is drag it there and let it go. and it updates everything for you. So now you're getting 77 cents. It updated your max profit to $77, and it gave you a new probability of profit. Now you're only at 71% instead of the 77 because we made our widths a little bit narrower. But it's just really easy to do, and same thing here. If you want to say you want to change this to 39, so you bump that up by 1. Again, both of them are highlighted so you can see exactly what you're doing. It updates your credit. And let's say you want to look at, maybe you clicked on the wrong side. You actually want to buy instead of sell. To do that, all you do is click on this and it goes from sell to buy. So again, really easy to make changes instead of starting your ticket all over from the beginning again. Similarly, let's say you want to do 2 contracts instead of 1. Just under this quantity here, you just hit that button. You can see it updates, brings it up to 4 because we clicked on it 4 times. Really easy to update. If you want to change your widths, say you want to make this strangle wider, you want to increase the width, you click on that and it will move each one price wider. So just really easy to adjust and really easy to visually see what you're buying. And now as far as the risk curve, so we're looking at the table up here. If you click on this curve, I like this a lot better than the ThinkOrSwim visualization of what your risk is and where your profit and losses are. It's just easier to look at. I mean, it's the exact same information, but I just like looking at this a lot better. And the really nice thing is you can actually make changes over here also. So let's say you look at this and, for something like this, I mean, it's not, I don't know, it's not a huge benefit, I guess. Maybe if you were doing like an iron condor or something a little more complicated, you'd want to make changes on here. But, let's say you look at this and, I mean, we're not really, I guess, centered based on today's price. So maybe you want to center it. You can just pick one of these and drag it and it'll adjust this green profit area and your loss area based on whatever new numbers you pick. So, I mean, you can drag this out all the way to here and, it'll show you where your profit area is and where your loss area is. So I just like this visualization a lot better. Like I said, you can grab either one. It'll show you as soon as you do this, it updates credit received, it updates all these numbers. So these numbers still show up on here. So you can see your probability of profit. You can see your theta, your delta, your max profit. So everything's all in one spot, just really easy to look at. And then once you're ready, once you finalized and you're good with your strike prices, again, just like the other platform, all you do is hit review and send, and your trade is sent off for execution. So that's really what I use TastyTrade for. So when I'm trading, I'll use both of these platforms. I will use ThinkOrSwim as my main charting platform. I'll use that for finding stocks. I'll use that for my scans. I'll use that for defining support and resistance levels, all that kind of stuff. Anything to do with the chart, I'm using ThinkOrSwim. But and usually for stock trades, I'll just stick with ThinkOrSwim. It's just easier, just easy to do it on there. But if I'm doing option trades, typically I'm going to go to TastyTrade. I just like the visualization of it. I like how it looks. I think it's really easy to adjust your trades. It's really easy. So if you can imagine how easy it is to enter your initial trade, if you're doing rolling trades, say you have an iron condor and you want to roll the entire thing, think how much easier it is to adjust it on here where you can, just grab something and drop it, as opposed to trying to type in numbers on ThinkOrSwim. So anyway, that's basically how I set my stuff up. And again, anything you disagree with or any suggestions or anything you have, I'd love to hear them in the comments. I think if you set yourself up with both of these platforms and if you use each one based on its strengths, I think these two are all you would need. And you could do any kind of future option, stock trade, anything with just these two platforms. So that's pretty much all I got for this video. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully that shows you, what the pros and cons of each one are. And again, if you have any questions, post those down in the comments. If you're enjoying the content of these videos, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. It really does help us out a lot. And we'll see you next time.